Sean todos bienvenidos a una noche especial aquí en Metal Index. Mi nombre es Washington Ibáñez y tenemos el honor y privilegio de presentar a una banda que para los conocedores del género es fundador del metalcore a nivel mundial. Desde Boston, Massachusetts, damos la bienvenida a Trevor Phipps, vocalista y fundador de la banda Unearth. What's up, man? Thank you for sharing this moment with us here in Metal Index. How you doing?
It's a pleasure, man. Doing well. Yourself?
I'm okay. Like I said before, we consider Unearth one of the big five of metalcore. There is a big four
big five.
on thrash. Big five this time. We have before on thrash metal, and now we have big five of metalcore. Killswitch
Who are the big
Engage
five?
as a late dying.
Yep.
Okay. Killswitch Engage as a late dying. Tribune, Avenged Sevenfold, and Unearth.
It's a good group of bands, man.
After more than 20 years, did you dream about making a new subgenre into the heavy metal?
When we started, we just wanted to do what we wanted, and it came out to be something unique. And it wasn't our first bands, and I think that's what kind of brought something unique to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, is that we started. This is probably our third band each at the time, maybe our fourth band each, and we had some regional success when we were younger. But we were getting a little older. We were not old, but we were around the age of 20, and it was at the point in your life when you're like, all right, well, am I gonna get a job or really push the dream of music? And I said, all right, well, we gave it our shot with these bands before, trying to make other people happy. Let's just make music that is going to make us happy. And that's it. That's our last chance to really go for it full time. And when we did that, songs just clicked better. They sounded better, and people reacted to them more. And then that's what started our career. Was that we just ignored trying to make other people happy and just made ourselves happy, and it worked.
It's really amazing because after all these years, Unearth is still sliding out there. It's really amazing though. But before going on, let me take a little break in Spanish. Estoy invitando a ustedes los televidentes a que se suscriban a nuestro canal en YouTube, y también estamos en las redes sociales tanto en Instagram, Facebook y Twitter. Trevor, congratulations for the new single. It was released today, Mother Betrayal. And the other one, the Wretched and the Ruinous. The single has reached number 1 on Sirius XM Devil's Dozen, about Metallica, Kettle Decapitation, Overkill, In Flames. This is fucking amazing, dude. How do you feel, you and all the band, for this accomplishment?
We were really excited when we first heard Jose's reaction when I sent him the song, I don't know, 6-7 weeks ago. He was really enthusiastic about it, and he's always treated us well and played our songs. Our last record, Incinerate, got to number 1. I believe our song, My Will Be Done, years ago got to number 1 for a couple weeks anyways. But the Wretched, the Ruinous had the longest stay at number 1. We debuted at number 2, only behind Metallica, for 2 weeks. And then we were number 1 for 3 weeks in a row. Metallica put out a new song this week and dropped us to number 2 for the first time. So we'll come back after him with Mother Betrayal.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Jesus and I were talking about these two singles because I think Unearth is getting stronger album by album. The most notorious heavy album for me, my opinion, was Watchers of Rule. Your voice was harder and more guttural. Most of the bands usually get softer and slower over all the years. What is this about, Trevor? Why did you decide to take this formula instead?
So, because of our age, and I see a great divide with how younger bands view the music business or industry and how your career path should go. when we were kids, we were very impressionable. So around the age of 12 or 13, for most of us in Unearth, all of our heroes took the path of going lighter. I understand why. It's to get to a broader audience and to, just really bring in the money and have more success. But when you're a metalhead and you want something really heavy, it's a huge bummer. And so when you're an emotional 12 or 13-year-old and your heroes are going softer, that lit a flame under us to, pick up a microphone or guitar or drums, bass, and just really go for it and vow at the time to never, ever be a band that sold out. And so I think just what happened in the early 90s with all the big bands trying to go softer, some it worked, some it didn't, but it bummed us out as kids to the point where we swore to ourselves we're never going to do that. If we have an avenue to get to the next level, we're just going to stay heavy forever. And we always idolized and referenced bands like Slayer and Cannibal Corpse. They just kept going for it. Every record was heavy, it was more brutal than the last, or if it wasn't as heavy, it was something a little bit different, still dark and eerie. Just want to write heavy music, and we're going to challenge ourselves and try to be better on every record and try to improve our craft and our playing, and writing ability as well. But we're not going to write a pop record.
Speaking of Watchers of Rule, Nick Pierce did a great job on drums in this album. What do you think about his work on it?
Nick's great. He's an amazing talent behind the drums. He was a big part of that record. He introduced some different tempos for us on that record, and he kind of opened some new doors for us at the time. Stuff that we weren't able to play before. We took on a different personality on that record, and it was intentional. We knew that we had a beast on the drums that could do all sorts of things, and he really did a great job on that album.
Yeah, he did for sure, and we can notice how special is Unearth into the heavy metal and metalcore, because I think metalcore is a family, and I think Unearth and Killswitch Engage are family as well. Let me talk about Adam D and Justin Foley. Adam has produced some albums, and Justin recorded drums on Darkness in the Light, my favorite album. Sure. How this relationship started, and then working together.
So it started because Adam was in a band called Aftershock in the late 90s, and we had played a couple of shows with Aftershock in Western Massachusetts. And the band had done some touring, but not a lot. And we knew that Adam was a producer as well. And we heard, I think, a 5-song EP for a band called As the Sun Sets. I want to say back in the year 2000, or maybe it was 99. And we had just got signed to Eulogy Recordings, and we're like, all right, we have a small budget for a record. We'd like what we hear with what you did with As the Sun Sets. Would you be into recording a record? And he was fully into it. It was a short budget. We kind of had to push through the songs, but that was our record, The Stings of Conscience. And we became great friends very quickly. We hit it off with them. And then we just did a bunch of shows with Killswitch over the years, and we did an EP that following year called Endless with them. Then we did The Oncoming Storm with Adam. Then later on we went back and we did The March with him, and we did Darkness and the Light with him as well. So we've done a lot of work with Adam. We just did some shows with Killswitch in December, just after Christmas. So that band is family for life for us. One band you left out of your top 5 is Shadows Fall, and they to us they started about the same time, and they are family as well, and they came up with us. And although they're a bit more traditional metal, I still consider them part of that pack of the early days of metal meets hardcore. Whereas it was actually more metal, but there was a lot of hardcore ethic to it that made it hardcore. And we played with hardcore bands, so I would include them in that mix as well.
Yeah, I forgot Shadow Falls, so it has to be Big Six instead of Big Five. Darkness.
Big Six, and also Lamb of God was with us a lot back then too. Mm-hmm. But I know they're considered metal, but they were in the same scene at the time. So there's a lot of different avenues you can do for that's why you're looking for the big, however many number of metalcore. There's a lot of different discussions about what years bands started and who belongs where. You know, it's just like I think that's maybe why Testament might have lost out in the Big Four, because Testament to me they're a very strong band. Chuck Billy's probably the most talented, aggressive vocalist in the world because he can do everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And he does all very, very well. So they might, there's an argument for them to have a place, but maybe because the band started when they started is the reason why they're the Big Four. And also they're killer.
Yeah, sure. And speaking of Darkness in the Light, it's the only album that you sing clear on a few songs. Why did you do that in just one album and not keeping doing this?
So the clean singing on Darkness in the Light, that is Ken. Ken Susi did, I think that record is probably the record he wrote the most on. Each record, it seemed like either Buzz and Ken would write very well together, or one guy would have, more say than the other. And although Buzz had a lot to do with that record, Ken had more to do with that record than most of our other records. And he really took that one under his wing, and he wanted to add some clean parts. I think also having Adam back at the controls to record the record, and having Justin Foley on drums. It doesn't mean it didn't cause any arguments, because most of us didn't want to go that direction, and so we fought about it quite a bit, but we came out of it with a killer record.
And there is also something curious about Unearth and their changes of lineup, different people working in every album, on stage, tours. What is the most difficult thing that you have faced all this time with all these changes?
The most difficult thing of our career, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but the most difficult one to overcome within the band with member changes, because there's a lot of difficult things. Like our original bass player Chris Rybicki Rover was killed many years after he was in the band, but he was killed by a drunk driver, so that was hard for us on a friendship level. But as far as the band goes, when we're an active band, what happened about a year ago, there was a shake-up in our lineup, and Nick and Ken were both out of the band. And we could have went one or two ways. We could have been like, okay, well, maybe we'll take a time out and not keep pushing forward. But we knew we had a killer record that Buzz had written. Nick had recorded drums for the new record, and so it was a record we truly believe in. Think that it could possibly be our best material. We've all pushed ourselves to a different level. We forced ourselves to be better players, writers, and musicians overall, and performers. So, all right, well, we can't. This is what we do. This is in our blood to do this. So let's go forward. And many long nights of talking with Buzz, he and I would talk on the phone, and we're like, the only guy that makes sense on drums is to bring back Mike Justin, who played on our records, The Upcoming Storm and In the Eyes of Fire, which are our two most widely celebrated albums, best-selling records. Our live sets are dominated with songs from those records because that's what the people want to hear, and they're fun to play. So we got him back, and then for guitar, we really needed a guy that fit the mold for what we were going for. And we tossed around a couple of names, but we kept coming back to thinking that Peter Lehman was the guy, because back in 2005, Buzz was going to have to retire from the band because he was starting a family, and he had a job, with all the health benefits and paid all right. And so he's going to step down from Unearth in 2005, Buzz. And Ken and I found this kid at the time, Peter Lehman, from a band called Clearing Autumn Skies. And he was a great performer, a complete shredder on guitar, a really good person. And his writing style was very unique. And it caught our ear. Like, this kid's something. And so we invited him to be guitar tech and the eventual fill-in for Buzz, to take Buzz's place. And then Buzz decided that he wanted to, pursue being in Unearth. And of course, it's his band. So, like, of course, man, like, you're the guy. You write the riffs, You're part of the history of this thing. And so Peter filled in for one tour, Japan, Australia. And then he did another band called Apiary, which I signed to my label, Ironclad, years ago. So there was a connection for a long time with him. And we're like, he makes sense. He has history with us. He was almost in the band before. So we got him in. And so it was about a 3-month period with just a lot of, back and forth, ups and downs. And, some maybe not so pleasant conversations with Nick and Ken. And we even gave Ken a shot to come back. He wanted to come back. We rehearsed with them, but then it was more of the same negativity that came up. And when you're someone's brother for 25 years, and every exchange you have is negative, that means that you just need a break. You don't want to end up having any party hate each other, and you just want to take a break. Like, all right, well, let's just be friends. Take a time out for a minute. We have a lot of differences. Let's just keep it friendly. And he's on doing his own thing. We're doing our thing. And so that 3-month period of time was challenging, but we got through it. And as soon as we started rehearsing in July with this new lineup, and then we hit Europe.
Yeah.
The very end of July, and after show one, like, holy shit, this is literally more fun than it's been in a long time. And as the more it goes, it feels like it's a whole different entity now, where it's more fun, the tours are more positive, the shows are getting better. Something clicked when we had the shake up of the lineup. And what also happened was we finished the record. I finished the vocals. I did the last half of the vocals after we had the shake up, and that, I think, maybe lit a fire under my ass to be a little bit more fired up, with the lack of proper words here. There was a lot of the challenges. Instead of folding, which Unearth has never done, we've always overcome challenges, and it just made us better as a band, better as a live band, better as a recording band, better as writers. So that was the hardest one, but we've come through it.
The most important thing after all of these changes for 20 years or more is Unearth keeps doing the same music since the beginning. And I never asked this question to any person here at the channel ever. You are the first one. Do you remember the most embarrassing moment on your career on stage with the band?
Very, very clearly, yes.
or the most significant moment as well?
Yeah. It'll take me. There's a bunch that stand out as the most significant, but the most embarrassing. It was the first day of the Mayhem Tour Festival. Remember the Mayhem Tour? Mayhem Festival?
Yeah, remember that.
2011, it was day one, and I was backstage, and I got taken aside. There was a guy making a film, and like a movie, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna shoot a little promo." It was a B movie. He's like, "We're shooting a promo. Do you want to be in it?" And I'm never in shit like that. I'm not an actor. And I'm like, "Sure, fun. We're in Los Angeles. This is cool." Or San Bernardino, and it was Ken and I were there, and it was a couple actors we had met before, and so we did the scene, whatever, but it's right before we go on stage, and I thought that it went, so it was the two stages, like there's the main stage and there's the two like heavier stages. I thought it went Unearth, Suicide Silence, Testament, but it went Suicide Silence, Unearth, Testament. So during our set, because I was backstage, I didn't hear the music, I asked the crowd, "Are you all ready for Suicide Silence?" But they had just played like literally 10 minutes before. And so I had like 20,000 people going, "They just played, asshole." so I fucked up. It was pretty embarrassing.
And your most significant moment?
There's so many, man. Like I would have to say it's probably been festivals that we played in front of the biggest crowds. We did Download in 2010, probably 60 or 70,000 people, and because we played main stage, with the first band, it was only 5 bands main stage, and it was so epic to be playing from that many people, and they weren't just watching us; they were losing their shit. You know, it was the biggest circuit we've ever had. Fist in the air part, everyone chanting "Hey!" like most we've ever had. So it was to feel that energy coming back at you from the stage, ignites so much adrenaline within your body that you feel on top of the world. So that might be the one that sticks out the most. But there's a bunch of festivals and club gigs that have been off the hook that really stand out. But that one might be the top of the mountain.
And what do you think about the Europe, the Europe people? What's the difference between Europe people and US people?
Europeans and US people?
Yeah, when you're on the stage, the crowd.
Reactions in the crowd are when you're at a good show, reactions worldwide seem to be very similar. Mm-hmm. I've just noticed that the European and Latin American audiences seem to have a longer attention span. So if they like a band and they believe in a band, they'll follow that band further into their career. Where it seems like I can't even blame the American fan. I think it's the American labels and media that set up. They want the next band to succeed, sell the most out of the gate. They're looking for like the next big thing instead of realizing that there can be bands that live in a career in their own little niche, like make a career, make money, sell records, and it seems like there's too short of an attention span in the United States. We've had to deal with that and have fought through a lot of ups and downs over the years. But what's kept us going truly has been our international fan base, and we pay a lot of attention to it. We're constantly traveling the world. We just got back from Japan, Australia, and our first trip ever to Taiwan in December. We went to Mexico.
No.
So we're going to Europe next month. So we're always traveling outside of the U.S., but we tour mostly in the U.S. It's our home country, and we take great pride that we still have a career here and do well here, and it seems to be building again here. But I think that's the main difference, is that the attention span, or at least the way it's set up, it's the way the media is set up, music media, is that they just want to cover new stuff and push it, or just celebrate the very old bands, which is fine too. So we just have to navigate it and do our best to continue on.
I never gone to Europe, never, and I'm pretty sure that we have in Latin America, and we have the most craziest people on the crowd.
Yeah, it's a crazy crowd. Mexico City was wild. I know that it was a long time ago now that we played Santiago, Chile, and Sao Paulo, Brazil, and those shows were insane. And it's first and only time of our career was in Santiago. We played packed show, and we go into the van after the show, and people were chasing the van like we were the Beatles or something. And then it was funny, years later, Chuck Billy from Testament, on one of the social medias, I saw him, he posted the same thing. I guess they got a very similar treatment. And I was like, wow, it's cool. That's, that monkey, that monkeys, the monkeys, remember the monkeys?
Yeah.
When, that show, I always call it the monkeys of the Beatles, like that kind of mentality, like chase the band. it was really cool. Like, holy shit, this is fun. This is fun.
Yeah, we always do that kind of shit. I don't know why. I don't know why. We are different.
Yeah, you love the
Yeah.
music. It's
we
a
love-
visceral reaction.
Yeah,
I love it.
for sure. I have seen on social media that people like when artists name their favorite albums. Trevor, in this time, what is your favorite Unearth album and why?
It's almost always, if it's within a year of me recording a new record, it's almost always the new record. I'm gonna say the new one again, but I think because we're doing so much on the record, and it was such a transitional period for us, and I pushed myself vocally so much on this record, and Buzz pushed himself so much on a writing level on this record, that I think this one's gonna have, it's gonna have legs for it being a favorite record. I love every song on the record. I listen to the record still. I'm a fan of the record because we added so many different flavors and elements to the record, but got heavier at the same time. So it's something we're really proud of. As far as previous catalog stuff, I would have to say The Oncoming Storm, solely because it treated us so well. We had our full length Stings of Conscience, then our EP Endless, and then 2004 was The Oncoming Storm, and that really catapulted us into being a career band. Whereas before that, we were younger guys pushing to be a band. We're on tour, getting paid, short change each night. That record came out, and all of a sudden we got big festival offers, we got bigger tours. We were selling out good sized rooms, we were headlining. So it made a big difference as to us wanting to be professional musicians. So it's probably the most impactful record of our career. And I don't think that's ever going to change unless we have another change that's going to get us onto a next level. But like I said, we're not too concerned about fame. We just want to write music for us, and of course we want it to succeed. And if a band can be as heavy as us and have the success of a Metallica, of course we're going to push for that. But I don't think the human listening palate is equipped to make a truly heavy band that popular. But we're gonna die trying.
And actually, the new album is around the corner. It's coming out soon. There is something about Extinction, 2018. I feel like the band wanted coming back to the roots, sounding more like the previous, the first two albums. What will be the direction of the new one? What will we expect?
So what happened when we did that record, Extinctions, was you're right. We tried to go back to our roots with that record, and at that moment in time, heavy music started having its because I believe we're in a new golden era of heavy music, just like the mid '80s, then the late '80s, early '90s, shit kind of went haywire and everything went underground. That's why you have metalcore and so many different subgenres, because the metal that we all worshipped and loved was now more popular. Rock, it was just heavy rock. And so everything went underground and kind of had to find its own way. And now, fast forward to now, so it really started to pop off around the year 2003. All these underground bands started to be noticed, and the Ozfest tours started coming, and these bands started getting more popular. And now, I mean, heavy bands are selling 1 to 2,000, 3,000 tickets a night, sometimes more, and they're truly heavy bands. You wouldn't have seen that years ago. So the fact that we have so many heavy bands drawing so many people and selling X amount of tickets, streaming or selling so many records, and writing good songs. It's not just about being heavy and popular. They're writing good songs. Like Gojira is probably the best modern day heavy metal band. They're so fucking good. And every song they write is good. And so there's this new chapter of metal where, yes, we worship the old, and a lot of the old is still there. We still worship it and support it. But there's this new wave that's just killing it. And then the younger bands, like the younger bands started coming out. Like, you know, you had Power Trip and Knocked Loose, and now, even fast forward to now, you know, so that was like 2016, 2017, and now all these bands are just totally smashing the scene, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see, because there's this wealth of heavy metal and hardcore and all the subgenres mixed in that came before them, and they have all this music to pick from to use as inspiration. And you're getting fresh sound because they're using all this stuff, and like, holy shit, this band throws it so hard because they're listening to so many different styles that are good, and it's creating beautiful music, and it's so cool to hear and still be part of. Yeah, I'm getting excited. Like, I love the modern days, the modern day heavy music scene. It's going really strong.
And something about the new album. Something that
What about
something that
Sorry,
we don't know yet.
Don't know about the new record. The record is a concept record. It's the lyrical themes entirely about the environment and how mankind is destroying our only habitat. So I attack from different angles. I attack what we're doing, what's about to come, and what's going to happen in a distant future, not too distant future. So it's our first theme record ever, first concept record ever. I kind of dipped into a little bit on Extinctions. I kind of got halfway there. I attempted to make a full concept and then started getting into other things. But this one, I stayed focused on that. I think the listeners will be surprised by the record as a whole. It's a fucking vicious record, man, and it's unique, it's powerful, and it's something we're all really proud of.
Sure, we're waiting for that. I'm pretty sure that will be good. I think Unearth is this kind of band that doesn't have any bad album at all. Seriously.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I agree with you.
All
why we
the
take so long to write
albums are good. Really fucking good. Trevor, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here in the channel Metal Index. For more than 20 years, almost 23, 24 years, your band has been a privilege to the people out there, because Unearth is a classic band of heavy metal.
Appreciate your kind words, man. That means a lot.
Yeah.
So it feels good to be here, still doing it, and putting out the best music that we can write. So thank you for supporting it, and I appreciate you very much.
Yeah. Any words for people and your fans who's watching you right now?
We say it on stage every night, but we love you all. We really do. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us over the years. This is our passion, and we've fought through thick and thin, and you've been there with us the whole time. And we look forward to doing this for. It's been 25 years now. We look forward to at least 25 more. So we're having fun. Hope you're having fun with us, and we'll see you out there. Check out our new record, The Wretched, Ruinous, when it comes out May 5th.
Thank you so much, Trevor. No se olviden de suscribirse a nuestro canal en YouTube y también disfrutar de nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y Twitter. Espero que la hayan pasado muy bien aquí con Trevor. Y por supuesto aquí Washington Ibáñez en Metal Index. Ha sido todo por hoy, esta noche. Fue de verdad un placer estar con Trevor y la banda Unearth, una de las bandas más importantes a nivel mundial. Nos vemos en otra oportunidad. See you soon.